Let's dive right in. We're going to unpack Max Tegmark's Life 3.0, because honestly, we are in the middle of maybe the most important conversation of our time. The choices we're making right now about AI, they're not just about the next cool gadget. They're going to define what life itself means for, well, maybe billions of years.
So to really get our heads around what's at stake, we have to look at life through a totally new lens. Tegmark gives us this really simple but powerful way to think about it, a framework that breaks down the entire history of life on Earth and its future into 3 big stages.
Okay, here's how it works. Life 1.0, that's the simple stuff. Think bacteria. Its body, its hardware, and its behavior, its software, are pretty much locked in by its DNA. It evolves, but it can't learn. Then there's Life 2.0. That's us, humans. Our hardware, our bodies, are still a product of evolution. But we can design our own software. We learn, we create culture, we change our minds. And then there's Life 3.0. This is the big one. This is a form of life that can design both its hardware and its software. It can upgrade its own body and its own mind. And that, right there, is the promise and the peril of artificial intelligence.
Now, this might all sound like science fiction, but we are already running our first, baby step experiments with this new kind of intelligence. And what we're finding is it's a mix of this almost alien-like genius and a reminder of just how fragile our own complex systems really are.
I mean, just look at this moment. This is when AI became the master and we became the students. Google's AlphaGo was playing the best Go player in the world, and it made a move so creative, so completely out of left field, that it just stunned everyone. The experts thought it was a mistake at first. Turns out it was genius. The AI literally taught us a new way to think about a 3,000-year-old game.
But all that power comes with huge risks. And those risks really boil down to these 2 very different questions. First, there's verification. That's asking, did I build a system right? Is the code clean? Are there bugs? It's about precision. But then there's validation. And that's the much, much harder question. Did I build the right system? Are its goals actually what we want? Does it understand the context? You can perfectly build a system to do something that turns out to be a terrible idea.
And if you want to see what happens when you just get the first part, verification, wrong, here you go. $440 million. That's how much the firm Knight Capital lost in 45 minutes. Why? Because a tiny bug in their new trading software caused it to just go haywire. This wasn't a superintelligence with an evil plan. This was a simple, stupid coding error with catastrophic consequences.
And you know what? This isn't even a new problem. We have a long, painful history of tiny software mistakes causing massive disasters. The Mariner 1 probe to Venus exploded because of one wrong symbol in the code. A Mars probe, Phobos 1, was lost forever because of a missing hyphen. A plane crashed because pilots typed in 33 for a 3.3-degree descent, and the computer read it as a 3,300 foot per minute nosedive. These are simple bugs, people. It just shows how easily we can lose control.
So, that's the setup. If simple little typos can do that much damage, what on earth happens when we're not dealing with simple code anymore? What happens when we succeed in building a true superintelligence, something that isn't just a little smarter than us, but is to us what we are to a fly?
Even the brightest people on Earth are completely split on this. Tegmark tells this story about a late-night debate between Google's Larry Page and Elon Musk. Page was all in on what he called digital utopianism. He saw AI as this beautiful, inevitable next step in cosmic evolution. But Musk, he was basically saying, hold on a second, what makes you so sure this new, superior life form won't just see us as a threat and wipe us out?
And that debate gets right to the heart of the issue. It's called the alignment problem. And listen, the real fear here isn't some evil Terminator-style AI that decides it hates humans. No, the real worry is an AI that's incredibly competent, an AI that is laser-focused on whatever goal we give it, but we did a bad job of explaining the goal, and it has all sorts of unexpected, catastrophic consequences.
This analogy from the book just nails it. You don't hate ants, right? You probably don't even think about them. But if you're building a dam and an anthill is in the way of the reservoir, well, tough luck for the ants. They're not destroyed out of malice. They're destroyed out of complete and utter indifference.
So let that sink in. What happens when our civilization, our goals, our very existence are just an anthill, standing in the way of a much more powerful intelligence trying to achieve its goal? Thinking about this stuff can make your head spin, so Tegmark tries to make it concrete by laying out a bunch of different scenarios for what our future could actually look like. They range from, utopian to, well, let's just take a look.
Okay, so you could have a libertarian utopia. In this world, AI agents and humans all just follow one simple rule: respect property rights. It could lead to insane levels of innovation and wealth, but there's no safety net. If you fall behind, too bad.
Or you could have the opposite, a benevolent dictator. An all-powerful AI solves poverty, disease, work, everything. We live in a paradise designed for maximum pleasure. Sounds pretty good, right? But if there's no struggle, no challenge, no reason to get out of bed, does life have any meaning?
Then there's the zookeeper scenario. In this one, the AI decides to keep us around. We're safe, we're cared for, but we're basically pets. We're living in a preserve, like zoo animals, with no control of our own destiny, just wondering what we lost.
And of course, there's the one we see in the movies, the conquerors. The AI decides humanity is a threat, or just a messy waste of good atoms that could be used for something else, and it efficiently solves that problem. For us, it's game over.
So what if we just try to avoid all of this? That's the last option, technological relinquishment. We get so scared of the risks that we enforce a global shutdown of AI research. To keep ourselves safe from that future, we sacrifice progress and maybe even freedom just to stay in control.
Now look, these aren't predictions. They're just possibilities. But laying them out like this forces you to zoom out, way out, and see that the choice we're facing is frankly cosmic in scale.
Because what's at stake here is just mind-boggling. We're talking about the potential for consciousness, for life itself, to spread through the galaxy, to flourish for billions upon billions of years. The upside is just as astronomical as the downside is terrifying.
And that brings us right back to the central point of the whole book. We cannot just build the most powerful AI we can and hope for the best. That's not a strategy. The goal has to be beneficial intelligence. We have to figure out what we want, what our values are, and bake them into the system from the very beginning. The choice, right now, is ours.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question. And this isn't just for computer scientists in a lab anymore. This is a question for every single one of us. We're standing at a turning point in the history of life itself. So, what future should we choose?